Hi, greetings from QGenesis. Hope everybody is keeping well and safe out there. Well, I'm Sophie here, heading the delivery. At the outset, I would like to thank everybody for joining us. We believe learning is continuous and hence we are here. Before we could proceed with the session, I would like to give a brief about the organization. Here you go about QGenesis. It's a global consulting firm with more than 20 years of footprint in various domains such as IT, telecom, industrial automation, oil and gas, marine, subsea, FMCG, manufacturing, etc. We conduct corporate audits in terms of clients' quality, safety, sustainability, security, health, and reputational risk. We also build incredible connections through learning and training. Last but not the least, we provide consultation on process improvements as well. That's for now about the organization. I would like to inform the participants that the Q&A session is open since the start of the session. Whomsoever has any queries, please post your queries through the chat window.
First time when you are opening the tool, you will be landing in a page like this, right? You will be landing in a page like this. So here for your easy understanding, Microsoft has created some sample plans, right, for a software development, for installing a project server, a simple project plan, business plan, right, market research, and different. There are various other standard templates they have already done for our understanding, right? This is basically for you to understand how they have different planners, how it has been created, including a wedding planner and a training outlet planner, right? So, or an agile project management. So everything is already there, right? I mean, maybe what you can do is don't get into those subjects as of now. So let's get started with the basics. Then for your understanding and practice, maybe you can open any one of them and you can try to work on that. But as of now, please, I would strongly advise you not to start anything on that. So let's start from the scratch. That will be the easiest way for you to understand the concept from the beginning, right? All right, so what you need to do is, first you need to do is, you'll have to open a new project, a blank project, right? Just open a new blank project. So it comes like this. After opening a new project, as I told you, the very first thing what we need to do is we need to set up the project information, because this is where the complete details are set. This is a one-time activity. We will not be coming back to this setting in the later part of the project, but it is very essential to set these details at the beginning of the project itself. But before that, just to give you some details about how the tool looks like. As I told you, this is the timeline on the top, right? And the timeline is to tell you, I will show you when we are developing the project. It will give you a very high level pictorial representation where our project lies upon. And the top is the same like our Excel, Microsoft Excel or PowerPoint or Word. These are all the typical classical menus from Microsoft. So here we have one menu for task, what you are seeing on the screen. Similarly, we have one menu for resource, right, and one menu for the report, and there is a menu for project and to make any changes on the viewing, and we also have a formatting menu, right? So these are all the major menus on a very high level, and what we will be using is most of the time during the project planning, it will be on the task. By default, it will be on the Gantt chart. Gantt chart is what you are seeing on the screen. So this is called the left side is called the Gantt table, and the right side is called as the Gantt chart. So this is automatically getting, the Gantt chart is automatically getting generated based on the inputs what we are providing on the default from the table. So this is the default view in Microsoft, right? And the various other views, if you see, if you go to the top, just right below the file menu, right, there is called a Gantt chart. If you open the down arrow, you can see what are the other built-in views. By default, as I told you, Gantt chart is one thing where we will be now doing all the planning activities. Likewise, we have calendar, network diagram, resource sheet, resource usage, resource form, task usage, task form, task sheet, team planner, and many different things. And there are more views. If you click the more views also, there are many more views, right? And we are going to see all these views during this next 2 days of our workshop, right? So do not be worried. At least the major essential things we will be now doing a deep dive, and rest all other things I will give a high level information what is essentially required at this point of time, right? So on the task menu on the top, very similar to Microsoft Excel or any other tool. You have cut, copy, paste, and you can change the font size and other things. But what is more interesting is on the schedule type. In the schedule type, if you see, there is a one thing on the top showing as a percentage that will be used for the tracking purpose, and the rest all there are few other things, creating a link and you know to de-link the task and to split the task. All these features we are going to see in a very short time, right? And there is another thing important feature is auto scheduling and manual scheduling. If you keep the cursor on the top, it will tell you what exactly it is. Now the meaning of the particular menu, it will be given in a very summarized version, and even you can get the shortcut menu for that, right? And apart from that, there is a ways of adding that task, and there are different tasks, as I told you, right? What you are seeing on the top as a task, it is a simple task which we will be using it very often. There is also called a recurring task, which we were talking about during the presentation, which is nothing but your review meetings, and there are various other types. And apart from that, you can see there is a summary task and there is a milestone. Summary task is nothing but what I was telling you about the about the work packages, right? So that is the summary task, and this is the milestone, right? And similarly, we have the task level information and various other details related to these are nothing but all the properties related to the task, and similarly few other functions and filtering options available. And similarly, when we go to the resource, right, and the resource we have like in task for Gantt chart, in resource we have related to team planner, right? Anything related to the team planner, it is the same set of menus, right? But here again we can go and we can select what we want. So when you are going to the next session, here what we are seeing is what are the various other features like assigning the resources. What is the resource pool? Resource pool is nothing but in terms of any sharing of resources. If you have any shared resources between the projects, then those information can be pulled in here. Usually this feature is enabled in the project server, right? Otherwise, if your organization is having a shared calendar, then even in that case it can be used. Similar to the task properties, here we have the resource properties where we will have the complete information about the resources. We can give the personal details, any additional information that I will tell you when we are going to that particular topic. And the another one is the very important feature is the leveling of the resources. This is one of the very essential skill set required for you as a project manager. Why? Because the two important risks, whether you are if a resource is underutilized or overutilized, both are having its own associated risk. So if a resource is underutilized or overutilized, then take my words, we are going to lose the resource in the very near future. So the resource cannot be underutilized nor it cannot be overutilized. So how are we going to do the leveling for that resource? So that is what this particular section is talking about, and we will see see in detail when we are going to do the optimization of the project. After doing all the planning activities, after creating all the plan and assigning the resources, this is what we are going to see in detail. So the leveling option, one of the very essential functionality required for a project planning activities. So that's all about the resource side. Let me go to the report side. Report part I will come to the last one. The another one is the project. Here if you see on your left, there are sub project. What does it mean is, you can have individual sub projects. Say for example, you have outsourced some activity, but that is a part of the main project, right? If you wanted to manage that particular project, that sub project is nothing but, as such, by virtue of its nature, it is a kind of a project. It is a project plan which follows all these methodologies and philosophies. Everything is same, but that is considered as one of the subset of the main project, right? So likewise, you can have any number of sub projects, and all those sub projects can be integrated into the parent project or the mother project. So that is also possible. So as I told you, one example is an outsourcing. Maybe it could be, some project is getting executed from a different geography or a different team or from different time zone. You wanted to manage those projects, or if a project is done by a subcontractor, that you can create a project and you can now link those sub project here. So that is the option available here, that we will see it at the end of the next day, for the second day. Other options is project information add-ins. Just leave it. That is a slightly on the advanced level. But the essential feature for us is the properties. So project information is very essential. That is what we are going to start with. So the very first activity in a project, when you are creating a project plan, you'll have to start with the project information. And there are different customs field, and we can link between the projects. And there is also an option to create a WBS. So you can create a WBS in the project itself. And there is a change of working time. This change of working time we are going to see in detail. As I told you, by default there are some set of calendars defined in the project, and apart from that we can have a project specific calendar, resource specific calendar, and material specific calendar. So we can have different set of calendars. So even if you have 100 resources in your project, you can have 100 different calendars. In that case, the project becomes more effective to manage. So we will see that in very few minutes. And there are some other scheduling related activities. This is where how we will set the baseline of the project and how to see the status of the project. So that's all about the project. And there are some views, where you can have a different view, a Gantt chart view, task view, network diagram view, and resource based views. All those things are there in the drop down menu, right? In the drop down menu, what we have seen from task and resource, but this is an easy quick access button has been given. And apart from that, there are a few other features. In case if you are not able to see the timeline here on the top, and this is the place where you need to enable the timeline. If I remove this tick mark, your timeline goes. If I give a tick mark, then we get this timeline, right? This timeline is going to be very important. I will tell you when we are going into the in the project, right? So that is the one. And apart from that, let me come to the last part of this one. There are some defined predefined or pre-built reports in the Microsoft project. This we are going to see in detail in module 4, right? So with this, let me just get started. As I told you, by default we will start with the Gantt chart view from the task menu, right? So this is the Gantt chart view. So as I told you, we are going to take up the common example of starting a restaurant. So restaurant has many different activities, right? Either we can create a WBS in the Excel, and from there we can we can identify the subtask, right? I can use an Excel spreadsheet, so that from there we can try to come in.
Thank you for watching our promo video on Microsoft Project. Let's now see how to update your training certificate to your LinkedIn profile. At the end of every training, all the participants will be receiving a digital certificate from QGenesis and the credential details along with the online access of the certificate from our cloud, which you can link to your LinkedIn. To do this, you need to go to your profile section, select the licenses and certifications option and enter all the details that we will be sending to you along with your certificate. It's as simple and it can be retrieved by your employer anytime from this section or using the link that we have provided. Thank you for your time and we hope to see you soon in our training programs. Good day.